How we doing there, boys and girls? Manthieus here, and welcome back to another video. So I want to talk about a couple of things today, and they pretty much all revolve around in the profession enchanting in some way, shape or form. The first thing, I want to give you some juice. I want to give the enchanters out there a little bit of a heads up that there's actually 12 knowledge points that you can obtain that many of you guys probably didn't even know existed in the game. But you do have to spec a certain way to be able to have access to them. So if you are running short on knowledge points for enchanting, try this out. If you take a look in your enchanting tree, in the insight of the blue specialization, there's this one node that is going to be the topic of the conversation for the most part today, but it's called primal extraction. This thing is proving to be a bit of a mystery. There's lots of questions people have about this. Even the WoW secret finding Discord is questioning what the hell this little node is about. And I kind of feel bad because people were quizzing me about this all the way back in the beta, and I just, purely because I hadn't looked at enchanting in enough detail, I just quite simply said, I don't know. But this past week, I've been spending a little bit of time with enchanting, trying to learn a little bit more about it, and I stumbled across this. To not jump about topics too much to begin with, you put some points into primal extraction. If you put 10 points in, you learn the ability to do an elemental shatter, which destroys an awakened element, and it gives you some stats at the same time. Now, this is only usable outdoors in the Dragon Isles, so you can't take this buff to raids, you can't take this buff into battlegrounds or whatever, but if you're out doing world quests or you're, grinding achievements out in the storms or whatever the case may be, you can have this. But after spending 10 points, when you go and do the storms, of which they are up frequently. There's an ice storm and there's an earth storm up currently right now. You run into the storms, you kill a bunch of things, and there's the opportunity for you then to get these things. Glimmers. Glimmer of frost, glimmer of earth, glimmer of fire, and glimmer of air. If we take a little bit of a look at the tooltip, you can see it says it's a valuable magical information can be found within. Disenchant this to gain some enchanting knowledge. These give you 3 knowledge points each. So if you go to each of the storms after you've put some points into that node, you can get a bonus 12 points. Nearly an entire week's worth of sort of progress, which is could be very handy. It could be enough to kind of catch you up if you're running a little bit behind. But either way, it's 12 extra bonus knowledge points. I wanted to get that out there nice and quickly at the beginning of this video. But the main reason I wanted to talk to you guys about enchanting today is for a little recipe that's proving to be quite elusive, that has something to do with this primal extraction, but people haven't quite figured it out yet. So my question to you guys is very simple. If you have an enchanter, is there anybody out there that has this recipe? Primal invocation extract. This is seemingly becoming a bit of an enigma. Very, very few people have this recipe. There's probably only 3 or 4 people across the entire EU that have this recipe. Now, it doesn't do anything particularly cool. All it does is it creates a primal invocation extract, which when used will transform you into an elemental for a certain period of time and has an hour cooldown. It's one of those sort of player transform toys. We'll talk about the toy in a minute, but it's an on-use item, and I imagine the reason why most people have ignored it for the most part so far is look at the thing. It's quite expensive. One of each awakened goes into making this, and the likelihood is that, awakened orders come down in price now, but the reality is it's quite inexpensive just to change your appearance. I did actually buy one. I bought one just to see what the crack is about with them. I'll show you exactly what it does. I think I left it in my mailbox, actually. Should have been slightly more prepared. Where is it gone? Oh, no, I have taken it out of my mailbox. Oh, boo. Where did I put it? I should have put it somewhere safe. Typical. Now I can't find the damn thing. Primal. Here it is. There we go. Primal invocation extract. If you use this, it's really quite simple. It turns your character into a little elemental. You'll see here it's turned me into a frost elemental. If I zoom in a touch, it's kind of quite cool. You can run around and you can be a frost elemental. You can still do most of your abilities. Let's take that out. You can still run around. You can do all your abilities in this transformed manner. he's even holding the weapon, look. When you mount up, it goes away. And if you leave the Dragon Isles, it goes away. But when you then dismount again, it comes back again. So you can run around as a little elemental. There's 4 variations of this from what I can gather. There's a Frost Elemental, an Earth Elemental, a Fire one, and an Air one. But that's the item. That's what the item does. But my question realistically more than anything is how in the world do you go about getting it? And I'm looking for, hopefully, somebody who has the recipe and somebody that has a bit of knowledge to get tapping away in the comments and let us know. When you look at the unlearned recipe, it says it's primal extraction. It's a discovery-based system, meaning that you theoretically need to do something to get the recipe. We haven't quite figured out what that something is yet. Something to do with primal extraction. And then it has this tag, Glimmers of Insight. This has led people to believe that it has something to do with these glimmers. The 4 different glimmers you have here, Frost, Earth, Fire, and Air. We figured out where these come from. They come from the storms. You can kill mobs in the storms once you've got enough points in that node. There is a 5th one, though, I should state. There's a 5th one that's caused a little bit of confusion, because also nobody has worked out where this comes from yet. So if you know, please let people know. There's a 5th one, a Glimmer of Order, which is in the game. It was added in patch 10.0. It seemingly has the same information, and you would assume is acquired in a similar way. But I've not been able to find it, and I've not been able to find anybody else who has found it. So if you have this, also, let me know. As you can tell, this is not so much one of my normal videos. I like to try and share my knowledge to you, but I'm really keeping my fingers crossed this time that you guys can share some knowledge with me, and in turn, the rest of the community. These primal invocation extracts are... The reason that it caught my eye is because they're stupidly expensive on the auction house. The quality 3 version of this there was like one guy in the entire EU that had one of these listed, and we are now quite deep into the expansion. You would not expect something to be a mystery for this long. I mentioned a toy earlier, and the thing that gets people a little bit more interested is the WoW secret finding Discord. What they're actually looking for, more than anything else, is how to get the toy. You may or may not have spotted it, but there's a primal invocation quintessence. There's a toy in the game that can be collected, and what you can actually see here is it shares the same cooldown, so it's clearly linked in some way, shape or form. What people are really interested in is how people get this toy. This has the reward for supreme invocation. We don't quite know how or what a supreme invocation is. I actually have a suspicion that whilst I've used this item a few times, that if you use it a few times more, there's the chance maybe of turning into a supreme elemental, and then that also gives you a toy at the same time. I don't know, I'm guessing here. The little line of red text underneath this, by the way, this was never available to players. That's actually been added by an add-on that I use called All the Things. If you look at this in your toy collection, if you happen to have this, once again, please, 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 if you know, tell me how you got it. So I don't have much more to say about this other than I hope somebody can come along and share some knowledge with this one. If you happen to be an enchanter, of course, consider putting some points into that node. It was the Insight of the Blue, the Primal Extraction node. Once you put 10 points in here, you can get access to 12 additional knowledge points. And there is good reasons to put points in this as well. I don't want to turn this into a spec building video, but you do gain inspiration and skill, generic skill. You even unlock a pet in this node, so it's quite a good node to have some points spent in anyway. So it's not a total waste if you're not there right now. But yeah, some bonus knowledge points for those that may not have it. Some questions from me about if anybody has the recipe of... Where's it gone? If anybody has the Primal Invocation Extract, please, please, please let me know. Either in the comments section down below. I will, on this video more so than any, keep my eyes very glued to the comment section, or jump over to the Discord. There's a link in the description for the Discord if you're not in there already. DM me on Discord if you have any information about this. I'm very, very intrigued. But I'll leave it there for today, boys and girls. I hope this video helps you. I hope somebody out there has some answers. And yeah, hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Consider subscribing if you're new around here. And I'll see you all next time. Peace.